It's gonna be awkward.
I don't get it. You do the math.
Boom! What up, everybody?
Dude, we're back.
We're finally back, dude.
It feels damn good.
It feels so good to be home back in the zoo. It's a different kind of zoo.
It's a different kind of
We're
zoo.
still the zoo, and we're still awkward.
Still awkward. We're still animals.
And everybody's still welcome.
Everyone is still welcome.
That's the important thing to remember, is that everybody is always going to be welcome to every show.
Does not matter if it's Awkward MMA, if it's Social Awkward Podcast, you're always welcome to the zoo. So it's still the zoo animals.
We're still the zoo, dude. We're still the animals. And obviously, I'm Justin.
I'm Zach.
And we're the Weber boys, or Jay-Z, depending on the day. Chip.
Or if you've listened before or not.
But either way, we're back, and we're starting a brand new series right now.
Right now, yeah, this is going to be the first episode. This first episode, just give me a quick one. We're just going to quickly kind of go over what to expect in this.
It's called Awkward MMA Show.
First things first, yeah.
To get the name right, the Awkward MMA Show. And I'll let you talk about it a bit first.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to do this one because for those of you who listened before with the Social Awkward podcast, we talked about MMA and how specifically MMA is important to me, and it's also important to you in some way, shape, or form also. Yep. So we're just really excited, and we're just going to spend this season on really diving into the topic of MMA and interviewing current and former fighters, coaches, maybe MMA strength and conditioning coaches or other members or personalities of the sport. Maybe we get a fight promoter. That'd be cool, like a local fight promoter. So who knows?
That would be dope.
So every week we'll have a guest, and then at the end of that episode, you're going to get a little bonus set feature kind of thing to where we're going to be doing like a behind the scenes training or sit down or some kind of behind the scenes thing to where the guest is going to share with us a pro tip of kind or
so that's
something
not
like that,
necessarily going to be like a bonus footage, but like that's just part of the show,
it's
right?
part of the show. Yeah.
So like,
but it's a bonus from
what we were doing podcast. Before.
Yeah. So it's a little more of a production this time.
Yeah, this is a show. This isn't a
We got more cameras, we got more mics.
We got 2 cameras, we got 4 mics, we got a producer, a show producer.
Shout out to Z Hut.
Shout out to Z Hut. And
we'll call him Zach Hut though, because Z it could get confusing.
Yeah, we'll keep the wires untangled for everybody. They are 2 different people though.
Yes.
So let's keep that clear from the get-go. Yeah, but as Z said, we're going to be really taking some time and getting to just hang out, with current and former fighters that are either, whether they're in the UFC, there could be local guys, they could be passing through.
They could be amateurs, they could be pro.
Dude, they could be from Brazil with a translator. We don't discriminate, dude.
Because we got 4 mics. That means we got room.
We have plenty of room. Where before we were restricted by big couches or big chairs rather.
Which we took those home.
And only 2 mics.
We didn't take the mics home, but we took them chairs home.
So
don't worry about them. They're getting used.
Yeah, it's not wasted. But we do have 2 new seating opportunities with 2 new speaking opportunities per episode. And here's the deal. With the episode structuring, we're not going to do this for a full year or full 52 weeks like we did with the podcast.
Good to mention.
These shows, and in fact, every show from here on out is going to be 11 weeks, basically. We're going to have an intro episode, kind of like this one, where it's mainly just us 2 talking about.
This is where we ask you to get your parent signature. This is the class syllabus. First day of class.
Just sign up, show up. We're gonna go over some classroom rules and stuff.
Rules, the supplies you got to get.
It's just some housekeeping things. This is one of those, but then we're going to do 10 weeks of good good interviews or have guests where we're going to do the interviews and we're going to train with them. And it's going to be a really fun time, dude.
Yeah, I'm super excited just because it'll be fun to just kind of get a little bit of mix up, get some interviewing in, just because I had fun interviewing you on the last episode of the podcast. So
yeah, well, that was fun, but it's like you can only do so much of it with just us two, and then the way that the structure of it went just seemed like there was always going to be a way that it was going to hold or limit a guest back in the sense of what they could talk about on the podcast versus here, there's like...
We can dive in. And don't worry, because we're diving into other categories. So it's not just Awkward MMA and Social Awkward Podcast. We're not going to tell you what those future shows are going to be, but there is going to be...
This is a whole universe, dude.
A lot of stuff.
This is a whole universe of shows.
We're going to be busy
that
bees.
We're going to be rolling out, and it's going to be a fun time.
I'm real excited.
It's going to be an awkward time.
It'll for sure be an awkward time. What else do we have? There's not, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. There's not going to be a ton of breakdowns on this. We're not going to be really breaking down what's going on in the mainstream MMA media. We feel like there's a lot of that out there already.
We may
a lot
touch
of people
on
really,
it.
Maybe if the guest feels like it.
Yeah. If the guest has an opinion, but we
like Connor punching an old dude in the bar, dude, that's unfucking called for. Like if that's what the guest says, then great.
Yeah.
Then if not, if he just wants to talk about, what they've got going on in their thing, then great, So similar to the podcast, not as much of an agenda, but there is more of an agenda than the
more
podcast.
Structure.
More structure,
it's
not an agenda.
Not an agenda, but we'll call it structure. We'll say. But overall, dude, this is going to be the show to watch
for the next 10 weeks at least.
What about time? How long do we think these shows are going to run us? Because the podcast got lengthy.
Yeah, it's more long form for sure.
Those got to be upwards of 2 hours on some.
Yeah.
But like these, what do you think? 30 minutes?
Probably around 30 minutes. Yeah. Who knows when we get the actual training footage in?
Then we may do bonus, some bonus content.
If the interviews are getting too long, we'll mix in.
Right. But we'll try to keep everything to a standard of around 30. We want to produce some good shit, good stuff, but we also want to make sure that it's not like just an 8-minute clip when we're talking to a black belt jiu-jitsu master or a UFC champion or something like that. We're not going to just do an 8-minute YouTube clip.
Yeah.
When we could have such a fascinating conversation. So
right.
we'll structure it to where that fits within the frame of the show, and then we'll do bonus thereafter. But
sure. Yeah. Because just sometimes
earmark about 30 minutes though.
Yeah. Mark that on your calendar every week to expect about 30 minutes
Budget
of your time.
About 30 minutes. You'll be good.
And learn about MMA, especially if you're interested. And even if you're not, I think there's a lot you can gain from it. Because like I've said in my life personally, I feel like MMA's taught me a lot about life in general. It's taught me a lot about how to behave, how to respect myself, how to respect others, how to work hard. There's a lot of things. So I just 100%. I think listening to these people and these minds, and a lot of these people, which is cool, especially in this first probably season, I would say, we're looking to interview a lot of people that luckily enough, I've just had the pleasure of knowing throughout the years of being around training throughout the years here in Arizona and Colorado, and just meeting all the different people. So it'll be fun to really talk to them and all these people that I've really looked up to from the start when I was, 14 or 15. It's fun to now be where we are now and able to have conversations with them and talk to them, as adults, and be fun.
It'll be a good time, dude. I think it'll be nothing but good times for us. It'll be nothing but good times for the zoo animals, and nothing but good times for the fighters too.
I think so too. That's the main thing, because a lot of fighters I've heard, I've not ever had it, but shit interviews. Yeah,
like they got to go around to radio shows and not really hang out with cool people.
Exactly.
They're asking about,
hey, when's your next fight? Who'd you win?
yeah,
Did you win?
like all this stuff about if they've ever,
You got choked out. How'd that
who
feel?
they train for, weird stuff. I feel like
I've actually not. I've personally not listened. The good news is
I've
for
never
us,
heard it.
I've never listened to like local radio interview MMA guys, which thank God. Otherwise, I'd be.
I would have started this sooner.
Yeah, probably would have started this sooner.
Sure. Anyways, dude,
that's pretty much it for the show.
That's a show in a nutshell. It's a summary.
Yeah.
And
stay tuned every week. Every Thursday, these are going to drop.
Yep. Check your pillows every Thursday morning.
Pillows every Thursday.
Episode Fairy will leave a new episode under your pillow.
Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. That's where this is. It'll be in the Awkward MMA playlist under the Weber Boys YouTube. And then we also have a new site dropping, going to be, or it's going to be dropped by the time this is actually live. So WeberBoysEntertainment.com. That's kind of the hub for everything. You can find old podcast stuff on there. We're going to have merch up on there. And then we're going to have the Awkward MMA podcast, and it's just going to be a more centralized hub for everything. So check that out.
Awkward MMA Show.
Awkward MMA Show, yeah. But
here's another thing too that I wanted to bring up. We're not stopping Socially Awkward Podcast. We're just not doing it while we're doing other shows. So we'll always go back and run the Socially Awkward Podcast back, where it's just Z and I for 2 hours, not interviewing anybody, but we don't want to get sick of that. So we're going to be doing,
you guys to get sick of that.
True. Yeah. We don't want that either. So we're doing these shows where we're going to be interviewing people, and then on off seasons of those, that's when we'll go back to do the Socially Awkward Podcast.
And if you're new listening to us and you're just tuning in for the first time with the Awkward MMA Show, maybe you found us online or something, feel free and go ahead and check out those old episodes of the Socially Awkward Podcast, because
got a whole prologue.
There is some current event footage in there, because that's a part of our show, is we talk about current events that are going on. But if you can get us past all those, there's actually some decent content you can find in there. So,
yeah. You got anything else?
I think that's it. Subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you guys enjoy this series.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be awkward.
Did you watch that show?
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't get it. You do the math.